film is called A Cambodian Spring. The director is here, and so is the Buddhist monk whose life and work form a central part of the story. Chris Kelly, Venerable Sovath, hi, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. Chris Kelly, what was calling to you in Cambodia? Why have you devoted years of your life to telling this story?
I originally went to Cambodia around 2006 just to travel as a tourist, traveling around, and I instantly fell in love with the country. It was just such a warm, open, giving society, and the people were so nice. But there was this kind of real dark side to the country as well in terms of the history and what happened with the Khmer Rouge. And I felt like I wanted to come back there and make a documentary. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be about at that stage, but I'd seen a lot of very good films about the Khmer Rouge and about the history, but not so many looking at kind of the modern issues that were happening in Cambodia and affecting people there, their daily lives. So I started to look at various different things that were happening, and one of those things was land grabbing. And so I put together a proposal and raised some development money and went to Cambodia with the camera. Very quickly met the Venerable Sovath, and he was at a conference filming with a little small Nokia smartphone, and I thought it would be interesting as a filmmaker to have a subject who is also a filmmaker, because it allows you to kind of reflect back on the process that I was engaged in and try to sort of also look at, how valid a response it is to the things that are going on around you, like what motivates you to pick up a camera in the first place. The Venerable Sovath was very interesting. He's a brilliant artist, actually, and he paints the story of Buddha on the walls of his pagoda and other pagodas as well. And in 2009, there was a land dispute, and in which his brother and nephew were shot, and many of the villagers were arrested and detained, and he very naturally, I think, put down his paint brushes and just picked up a camera, and that was his kind of artist's creative response to what was going on around him. And I found this fascinating, so I wanted to try and focus on that. And it took 6 years because I didn't want to make a film that was a lot of talking heads, people interviews recounting the things that had happened to them in the past. I wanted to try and be there as the events were unfolding and try to document the reality as it actually happened. And so that's the reason it took 6 years.
And Venerable, as people began to lose their land to lose their homes, why did you begin to protest? Why did you take part in the fight alongside the villagers who were losing their homes and losing their land?
Yeah. In Cambodia, so over 90% of population in Cambodia is Buddhism. And the Buddhist monk, he can live a life because our lay people support for rice or for everything, building or money or food, because of lay people. So like this, if the lay people make a suffering by violation of human rights, prohibition of land right and home, so they have food, they don't have food, they don't have money to support the monk also. So like this, that affect to the Buddhism also, because of the prohibition, because of human rights violation. So the monk is the symbol of the peace, justice, or rescue people. So when the human being suffering, poor, or make a problem, so Buddha or this monk should be to help them by education, by supporting, by doing anything for them. And for me, I very pity on to them that they suffering because of development in Cambodia by injustice, development not respect human rights, land rights, and make affect to them very poor, and also poorer and poorer. and not only poorer, not only affect to their land, their home, but affect to their life also. And some people were die by shooting, arrested from the police or accused from the court, and also sentenced them by the accusation and the jail because of they stand up to protest, to protect their life, their home, or their right. And like this make me very pity on to them, and sometimes I'm very sad and cry when I saw the problem like this, and I'm stand up to join with them, solidarity with them, to advocacy for justice, for freedom of peace, and also because of my community, my family also that were shooting by the police army because of land.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me. Oh my gosh. Excuse me.
Yeah, because
better
of
at
land
technology than I
grabbing,
am.
because of land
Because
grabbing
of
and
land
chigraing. Yeah.
A lot of the story unfolds at a particular location in Phnom Penh, near Phnom Penh. Is it Bangkok Lake?
Bangkok Lake, yeah,
Bangkok
that's right.
Lake. Chris, can you give us a sense of the heart of the protests? What was the issue? What was going on?
Bangkok Lake is a large community of about 4,000 families or 20,000 people. They lived on and around the lake. People started moving in there like right after the Khmer Rouge fell in 1979 when the Vietnamese came into the country. So people started to filter back into the city, which had been totally deserted for the period that the Khmer Rouge were in power. And basically people set up homes there. They set up, they bought land, or they just cultivated it themselves, and it became a very vibrant, thriving community. There's people from all walks of life. There's all different kinds of careers. There's teachers, lawyers, journalists, doctors, people who work just in restaurants and things like that. So it was a very vibrant community. And what happened was that the land itself is extremely valuable. Phnom Penh's property market is booming, and the land was valued at around between $1,000 and $3,000 per square meter. Unfortunately, this got the attention of a well-connected businessman and close ally of the Prime Minister Hun Sen, and so his company was able to buy the land from the government for a very cheap price, and then they started to fill in the lake with sand that they dredged from the Mekong River. And that was then what happened was that the community actually were supposed to be provided land titles through a systematic World Bank funded program called LMAP, but they were never provided the land titles. The World Bank program intentionally avoided the Bangkok case because it was contentious, and actually in effect by doing so paved the way for the forced eviction to take place. This ended up being the single largest mass displacement of people since Pol Pot evacuated the city in 1975. So what happens, you have this very vibrant community, and there's community representatives of each of the different villages around the lake. They became aware that they were going to be forcibly evicted, that they were given notice that their homes were going to be demolished, and they would either have to accept a compensation deal, which was hugely inadequate in terms of the value of their land, or they could try to do something about it. And that's really what happened. So you have these women, primarily almost entirely women, mothers, young and old, some ranging from, ladies in their early 20s right up to Netkun's like in her 70s maybe.
Yeah.
And these people just took it upon themselves to try and do something about it. They gathered together, they created a group, They started to work with local NGOs. They wrote letters of complaint to the World Bank, and in fact, they were actually successful in forcing the World Bank to have the inspection panel to do an inspection into the program, and the inspection found on their behalf that they had failed in its requirements, and that what should really actually happen is that they should be given proper compensation because of that. But that, you know, that hasn't necessarily transpired, but that's where it came from.
And Venerable, when you began protesting, this was a big problem for some of the other monks, for the leader of your order, the Supreme Patriarch. What did they tell you about being a monk and being a protester at the same time?
Yeah. Cambodia is not easy to work for human rights, for protesting, or for freedom of expression, and especially not easy for monks to join solidarity with lay people to advocacy for justice. So like this make the maybe the monk, the president monk, the Supreme Patriarch of Cambodia is not independent. It's not independent monk. It's not independent Buddhism. So like this, maybe he respect or he follow for politics party or.
So Buddhism is political in Cambodia.
In Cambodia, politics call is not independent also because of the government or the monk to follow by political party, and like this make the normal monk like me just doing, just praying and just speaking, following the Buddhism, but the Buddhism relating to the social, Buddhism relating to the peace or justice or happiness of the suffering people, poor people that affect for their rights, injustice, land right, or for eviction. So make affect to the politics in Cambodia that, you know, human rights violation, land grabbing, or corruption in Cambodia happen because of the politics, because of the company cooperate with the government, land concession, everything. So when I'm stand up to join with the people, affect to the company, affect to the politics. So like this, that they order to the Supreme Patriarch or to the monk minister to prohibit me, to stop my activity, and to ban me.
And what did they tell you? Why did they not want you to be in robes and protesting? What did they tell you about being a monk and fighting for people?
They tell me you are not real monk. You are bad monk, fake monk, and you
fake
are
monk.
Fake monk, and you are not respect the Buddhism rule or national law. But I tell them no. I'm become to the monk 25 years ago, while I'm young, and until now I'm respect to the Buddhism, respect to the Buddha word. But why they regard me not respect to the monk and not they regard me and not real monk and fake monk like this? I think when they accuse me like this to stop doing, stop joining, and stop speaking, but I'm not stop, because whatever I'm doing is right. It's not wrong. It's not wrong in Buddhism rule. It's not wrong in national law or international law of human rights law. But why they regard me illegal action or wrong law like this? I'm reject. When I'm reject from the order, like this make them angry, and they for eviction me from the temple also. Not only for eviction the lay people from their home, but when I'm to join with them to protect their home, I'm lost my residence also, my temple also.
You lost your home
Yeah,
at the
Lord.
temple in
Yeah.
fighting for people not to lose their homes.
Yes, that crazy.
That is crazy. So do you have a home now?
After the for eviction me 2010 until 2014. So in the while those years I'm not escape from Cambodia, but I'm still strong doing. The more they treat me, the more they stop me, the more I'm stand up and strong to fighting.
The more they stop you, the more you're going to fight.
Yeah, to fight for justice, happiness, and by non-violation. Non-violation, and we use the Buddha word, Buddha speaking only, and no home, no somewhere to stay, but my heart still happy, still strong, and I'm doing everywhere in Cambodia.
That your heart is still happy?
Yeah, still happy, still strong, because I'm not wrong anything. So
because you're right.
yeah,
you
because
feel
I'm right.
happy in your heart.
Should say as well that the Venerable studied philosophy and religion at university in Cambodia, so he's extremely well versed in the Buddhist precepts, and he knows the law very, very well, very intimately, and this is why he's able to say very clearly when he is challenged about the things that he's done. He's able to actually, recount what the rules actually are and say, well, no, I haven't done anything wrong. So they find it very difficult. They try to find ways of accusing him of doing, incitement or leading villagers to protest and that. But he's always been able to defend himself within the law, within the religious law, the Buddhist law, and within, as he says, the national laws in Cambodia and kind of the international human rights laws as well. So
when the Supreme Patriarch says you must choose, you must be in robes or you must be a protester, you cannot be both. Venerable calls on his Buddhism and his knowledge of the tradition to say, actually, I'm holding up precepts of Buddhism by fighting for the people.
He's not. He's not a protester, and he doesn't lead people to protest. But he helps and guides the villagers as well. He provides a kind of a moral compass and the kind of religious, guidance and kind of spiritual guidance and things like that for people.
It's more the act of being present. It's not that Venerable is protesting. It's that he's present with the villagers while they are protesting.
And documenting.
I had never heard the phrase monk police before watching A Cambodian Spring. Venerable, who are the monk police in Cambodia?
Yeah, the monk police is the monk minister, and the monk minister is installed by political party. So like this, that they control everything in Cambodia, especially control the Buddhism, the religion is not independent to do. So when they control the monk minister, Supreme Patriarch or monk minister, they can control all the monk in Cambodia, over 60,000 monks, and over 5,000 and lay women, over 90%. Among the 15 million people in Cambodia that practice the Buddhism. So
95% of Cambodians are Buddhist.
Yeah, over 90%. So it's not independent all like this. So they made the system and the Buddhism rule sometimes is not real in the Buddhism. For example, policeman in the Buddhism, no policeman.
Buddha did not teach about monk police.
Yeah, not monk violent. Policeman is a violent monk.
Well, Chris Kelly, you saw some of this play out in terms of Venerable's fellow monks sort of, forcibly helping him out of cars at protests.
Yeah.
Is there a moment you remember of this sort of monk on monk action with Venerable's own colleagues trying to prevent him from being active?
Yeah, absolutely. That scene that you're talking about when they follow him in the car and they're determined to take him out of the car and they want to take him away to.
And these are monks.
Yeah,
in the car
they're
that's
monks.
Following.
But that guy.
Together, police monk minister and the police, the security police, ministry and interior police, and the religious religion and culture ministry. Yeah, all together they cracked down to me, arrested me, and make violence to me. Yeah.
And Chris, it's in the film. It's a bit unnerving to see monks in robes giving chase in the car behind Venerable. I mean, can you say a bit about the surreal nature of some of the scenes you documented?
Yeah, it was very surreal to experience as well. The thing is with monks, they have a very special place in Cambodian society. So the normal police aren't allowed to touch the monk. They can't arrest him while he's still a monk and while he's still wearing his robes. So they need these monk police to step in and defrock him or derobe him first of all, so that he's taken out of the Buddhist Sangha and then he becomes a normal layperson, and then the police can step in.
So the monk police are in fact robed monks.
Robed police, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're
with muscle.
Yeah, absolutely, and occasionally armed with weapons as well. I mean, the hierarchy of the Buddhist. The hierarchy of the Buddhist Sangha in Cambodia is like a mirror image of the hierarchy of the ruling party and how it works. And so they've managed to translate and transfer their kind of power structures that they have within the party into the religious Sangha, because they want to be able to control it, because it is such a powerful force within Cambodian society.
Well, it's quite, it's stated quite baldly and boldly at one point. Somebody says religion belongs to the government in Cambodia now.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, is that what it amounts to?
That is essentially, yeah, that's exactly what it amounts to. That's the kind of key line to hear from the government, for them to say, we own religion. Hun Sen gave Tep Vong the title of Great Supreme Patriarch, and that was the first time
so
that
Hun Sen
title...
is the
Prime Minister. Yeah. And so he gave this, title to Tep Vong. It's the first time it's been granted to anyone in around 150 years, and this is very much seen as a way of him buying his influence and making sure that...
So this is a title in Buddhism he's bestowing on the head monk of your order.
And it's a very rare title to have, and so it's done in a way to buy influence and to make sure that the monks don't become an opposition power to the ruling party, because the ruling party are, I'm sure, very scared of the power that the monks wield within the community. 90% of the people in Cambodia are Buddhist, and they don't necessarily agree with the teachings of Tep Vong, because they feel that he's being corrupted by the ruling party, and there's been this reversal of the flow of power. It used to be that the pagodas were a source of power and that emanated outwards into society, but now what happens is that that flow of power has reversed in a way, and that you have money and influence going into the pagodas through donations and things like that, so that
from the
government and from ruling party senators and people like that, wealthy businessmen, they donate money to the pagodas and to the monks, because they rely on those donations in order to be able to eat and to also be able to keep the pagodas in a upkeep and that kind of stuff. So that's how it's been changed and corrupted.
This Venerable, I know you've said, and I see you smiling, I see you beaming, and you say you have strength in your heart and you have happiness in your heart.
Yeah.
How do you keep going? You're not just fighting the government, you're fighting your own Buddhist brothers, other people in robes who are monk police, who are who are trying to influence you. How do you stay strong? How do you stay happy? How do you keep fighting?
Yeah. This is because of the Buddha teaching. We should be to fighting to win a bad person by a good our heart to challenge, not make violence to again violence to
Not
win.
to use violence
Yeah,
against
not
violence.
to use violence to again violence to win, but we should be to use peaceful non-violent to fighting against the violence from our activity to win is better than violence. So this day if they angry me but me not angry them,
So
if
if they are angry at you,
I'm not angry to them. So this is we win because we control our heart, still peace, happiness, and keep the smiling. But they angry to us like the giant, like the evil, like the animal, crocodile or tiger. But we, for me, I'm still a human. I'm still a Buddhist monk. So make me win to them because many people they very support to me. It's not support to the violence, support to me, and I'm not scared and not afraid because I'm not doing anything wrong or illegal in Buddhism and nationalism or international law. No illegal anything. I know, I understand from my heart, and also like this I'm still keeping smiling from my heart because of my meditation. The Buddha teaching we should be control our body, our heart by meditation to win another violent person that they don't have meditation in their heart. So like this make me still continue until now because of my good heart, good action, good speaking, good doing like this. So the Buddha said if we are to do a good action, we can to get a good result. So like this, I'm still have to get a good result until now, and make many people in Cambodia criticize to what happened violent against the monk, and then right now they change the idea. And will be change the Cambodia also. Change from violent to non-violent. Change for injustice to justice.
so you'll be changing.
Yeah,
you'll be changing
changing.
Cambodia.
Yeah,
from violence to non-violence.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to ask you both about Bangkok Lake because what the viewer sees over the course of the film, and I must say over the course of 6 years, so it's quite striking. You see what happens to this place over a span of 6 years. And at the beginning, it's a lake. It's water, and there are kids, frolicking and playing in the water. And every passing year shows something a little bit different. Chris Kelly, can you put into words what was lost in this place?
Yeah, I mean, the community was lost. It's really, it was a beautiful, vibrant place. It was really genuinely one of the most gorgeous places to go in Phnom Penh when it was a lake. It was covered with morning glory. People farmed morning glory vegetables on it, and you could go out on the boats and everything. And it was very, very nice and very pretty. the people who lived there like were very close to their children's school. They were close to work. They were close to hospitals. So they were part of the fabric of the city, part of the fabric of the identity of Phnom Penh. And really that's essentially what's been lost by it being destroyed over the 6 years in the film. You see this landscape just be utterly destroyed. The buildings are crumbling and falling apart. The lake gets filled in with sand and turns into just an overgrown kind of sand pit essentially by the end of it.
There's no water in the lake.
There's nothing. No, there's no lake anymore at all. It's all gone now. It's been totally filled in with sand, and really that's people's homes have just been flooded with water. They've been flooded with sand. They've been bulldozed to the ground, and I mean, yeah, you lose everything. You lose your home. You lose like your neighbours. You lose all of that, and it's so. The result of that is that the community itself becomes so fractured and so broken and so desperate, and people get flung even deeper into poverty. They get forced out into the outskirts of the city where they're 25 miles away. And it creates this vicious cycle, actually, because what happens is those people, there's no work out there, there's no schools, there's no healthcare, so people inevitably have to trickle back into the city again to try and find work and to try and find a place to live. They don't have any money, so they end up, settling in informal settlements, and it creates this cycle again where that plot of land in another 5 or 10 years is going to become desirable, and they're going to get kicked out, pushed back out into the outskirts, and then trickle back in again. It's such an unsustainable model of development.
Venerable, when you think of Bangkok Lake today,
Yeah.
what's in your heart? What do you feel?
Now Bangkok Lake no anymore. Bangkok Lake right now is the building lake or business land and very expensive. Yeah. So they develop Bangkok Lake is not developed for Khmer people, for poor people, but they develop for the company and for money or for corruption. And also after they develop Bangkok Lake to business land like this, so no water come out from Phnom Penh when the raining is full out the water and the Phnom Penh like the flat water.
So it's affecting.
Massively. It was the largest catchment of water in the city, so all of the rainwater, it used to catch all of the rainwater and it would ease the flooding. Since it's been filled in, like the city, it can be 2 feet in water during rainy season quite regularly. So they don't have, it's just very, very blind, speculative development.
Affect to the people living in the city. Before, no flat water in the city while raining only 1 hour, 2 hours. Right now is a lot of water in the city and affect to the traffic on the road, and also the people living inside the home is a full water flow to the inside the house and electricity.
Oh, shocks.
Yeah, shock to the people die almost every day when raining.
So someone is electrocuted almost every day.
Yeah, because our crazy develop the natural lake. But right now the government they talk. Oh, we should be to make like a deep lake. More to rescue the water from city flow to the new lake. They want to develop new lake to bring the water. But we have all lake. Many lake is nature, lovely nature. But why they full the sand? They develop, destroy the lake, but right now when affect to the city, they said, oh, need new lake. New lake is need to to spend much more money than natural lake.
So they'll be building
Yeah,
a new lake, digging
new
a new
lake.
lake because the flooding is
To-
so bad.
Yeah.
Because they've filled in the old lake.
Yeah, I think it's not a good development. This is a crazy mistake development because our like this that affect to all in Cambodia. For example, the Ministry of the Ministry of the business, Ministry of the economic. Yeah, Ministry of the economic, Ministry of the industrial. They said cut the tree to develop country.
Cut the trees.
Yeah, this is a
develop
project. Cut the tree to develop country. But right now, the tree in Cambodia over 70% around in Cambodia cutting, destroying all.
About 70% of the trees have been destroyed?
Yeah.
Around Cambodia?
Yeah, maybe almost finished. But why make the Cambodia poorer and poorer? So they cut the tree, develop country, but why make affect to the Khmer people poorer than before? Because while we have the tree, the farmer, the indigenous people, they can make the food, find a food from the tree by nature.
Yes.
But right now, no food to eat, no job to do because of no tree. And no tree, no wildlife.
Wildlife, yeah.
Wildlife.
No wildlife, yes.
Yeah, and also affect to the environment also.
So the circle of
Yeah,
it, and
this
the
is
cycle
because
of
a
it.
mistake of development like develop lake like this. They need money as soon, but money is not money for state, for people, money for individual company, powerful family, corruption only. Yeah.
Venerable, you speak of the Buddha a few times in the film. Do you think Buddha would be a protester if he were living in Cambodia today?
Yeah, the Buddha is human rights defender. The Buddha is a politician, and the Buddha is a human. It's not heaven, it's not the God. The Buddha is human, but human being living by peace, by teaching people to living by peace and happiness. So all the word of Buddha want the human living non-violation, peace, happiness, justice, and respect each other. So, like this, that the Buddha is the symbol of protester. Why? Because when the Buddha become was born in the Buddha, the first is the king.
He was the king, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the king.
child of the
And
king,
he held
yes.
big power, big army. But why he giving up those power and become to the monk and become to the Buddha? No power by gun, no power by army, but the power of the Buddha is the power for peace, justice, or happiness, meditation, and keep going, teaching lay people, leading people to protesting against violence by non-violence for peace. For example, when the war happened between the country and country, between the people and people, the Buddha leading lay people, leading the monk to stop violence, to stop the war and resolve the problem by peace. They make a war because of the water. Water is the river along like this, and the people who living on the beginning river, they regard that this river is my property. But when the people living the last river, they use those river water to fit the to living for footing or for anything to alive. They don't have water because of the people living in the beginning. They regard this is my property. So like they make a problem or make the violence happen, make look like a war again and each other. And the Buddha go to protest, leading lay people, leading the monk to protest, to stop violence, to stop the war. So why in Cambodia the monk are not that's not respect or following the Buddha rule because they are afraid.
The monks are afraid.
Yeah, was written by the politics that they don't want the monk involved to the social, involved to the people to protest. But I regard that this is mistake. Yeah.
Chris Kelly, one of the things you're exploring in the film is the price people pay. The price people pay in fighting for what they believe in. Was there a cost for you? Did you pay a price, spending 6 years plus to tell this story of Bangkok Lake and
I don't know. I mean, no, nothing even comparable to what it's cost the people that I was following and filming. I feel very grateful, hugely grateful to the Venerable and to the other people that allowed me into their lives in such an intimate way and to document like so much of their pain and suffering. And I think really that anything that I felt, it's more of a sense of reward than anything else, to be honest, that I was able to kind of have these people really let me into their lives and having their trust that I was going to do, I hope, a good job in documenting what actually happened. And really, the film is a very personal film for me, and it's really as much a portrait of my time in Cambodia in a very subjective way, and my experiences with the Venerable and with the other people, as it is any kind of a historical document about what's happened. It's definitely not history with a big H, capital H. It's small histories, it's small personal stories, and that's really what kind of motivated me, was to explore the human condition and what it means to be a human being. And really that's just, it's part of my work to do that, really. I mean, now that the film's finished, it's hard to know what my relationship is with Cambodia. I'm always going to, have a very fond place for it in my heart and will always go back there. But I'm not sure if I'll, live there again or what other kind of projects will come out of Cambodia. I'm not quite sure.
Venerable mentioned it's a 95% Buddhist country. When you think about Cambodia, where do you see the teachings of the Buddha come to life? Where do you see Buddhism embodied when you're in Cambodia?
I mean, just in the generosity of the people, really. Like, people are genuinely so generous, it's unbelievable. Like, I've so many experiences as a foreigner walking around in Phnom Penh or in the countryside, and people will invite you, total strangers will invite you into their house to sit with them and eat because they're eating, and they'll do that for anyone, if there's a stranger around. There's a very kind of nurturing, loving attitude amongst Cambodian people, and I think that's really it.
I wish you both well. It's good to talk to you.
Great, thank you very much. No, it's our pleasure.
Venerable, thank you.